Welcome back, guys. Today we'll be beginning with session 2 of the week 3 of the course Retail Marketing Strategy. As far as this module is concerned, we'll be looking at the key factors for success in retail, and we'll also be having an overview of the consumer decision making processes. Along with that, we'll be learning about a brand Theli as well as the concept of anchor stores. And considering the last lecture, I am hopeful that you gain some enhanced perspective about the Khan's retailing success matrix. And again, I would urge you to go and read more about it because this is one of the key important matrix which can give you very rich or insightful perspectives about how a retailer can be successful by adopting the strategies which have been highlighted by Professor Barbara Khan. Now, as far as keys to successful retailing are concerned, we'll be looking at these parameters, starting from know your why, which is all about why a retailer exists, how you need to care for your customers, but you also need to show it to them. We'll also be looking at how technology lies at the fulcrum of any retail store operations today, why a retailer needs to also stand by their products, or why hiring is going to be the key, or why it again becomes important to have right systems and processes in place. Again, the role of continuous innovation and a strategic selling approach as far as successful retailing is concerned. Now, whenever we are talking about the facet of why, what we are trying to understand is why a retailer exists. What are the problems that they are trying to solve for your customers, or what are the ways in which they are adding value for their customers. So I thought, why not understand this by using certain examples. So we'll again be getting back to one of the popular grocers in India, which is DMart. Now, if you look at their mission, it is all about we research, identify, and make available new product categories that suit the everyday needs of Indian family. Our mission is to provide the best value possible for our customers so that every rupee they spend on shopping with us gives them more value for money and what they would get anywhere else. See, first thing is you can read mission to understand why a retailer exists. What is it that they are trying to achieve, or what is it that they want to do for their customers. Now, in case of DMart, it becomes precisely clear by reading their mission that they want to be the one-stop shop for the Indian population as far as their everyday needs are concerned. Along with that, they are also focusing on being very cost efficient because that is what, as far as groceries is concerned, Indian shoppers will gravitate towards. Their whole idea is to offer the maximum value for every rupee spent by the customers in their stores. But for this, a lot of things need to be executed. Like one of the reasons why DMart is able to do this is precisely for many of their stores, they never buy property on rent. They always operate on their own properties. And this again cuts down the cost to the maximum as far as the rent costs are concerned. And these benefits are then passed on to the customers, which again makes them a brand which offers a very high value for money. Along with that, their stores are more like no frills stores. I'm sure you must have heard about the no frills airline, in which the services are kept minimum but the ticket prices are also less. Likewise, DMart is also operating on this principle. They have reduced the cost to the minimum by kind of executing a lot of strategies, maybe precisely by being more or less like a limited service store, which means you will have some staff which you can reach out to for help, but you will not be seeing, like, a lot of customer executives, and this is what they are capitalizing on to bring down the cost and pass it on to their customers. I would also urge you to go and reach about their customer service pledge, in which they are talking about action, care, and truth. Action basically capture the facet of enjoying what you are doing, and this again is all about only happy employees can create happy customers. Then in care, it is all about listening and resolving to any employer customer grievances quickly and fairly, which again is the facet which indicates that bringing satisfaction or a wow factor is going to be the key. And eventually, they are talking about integrity, which is all about being open, honest, and fair in all our relationships and being respectful and trustful to others. But this is one such example that I thought of discussing. Along with that, I also wanted to highlight the facet of Nature's Basket. Now, Nature's Basket is precisely a premium grocery Indian brand which is basically known for offering exotic and organic foods to the customers. Now, these are precisely also kind of brought together from a lot of countries to bring in the X factor. Now, even if you look at their mission, it is all about redefining India's richest and finest food experience. Now, when they are talking about finest, or also talking about other factors like best customer service, quality, benefits, flavor, and taste, it also indicates that there is some definitely going to be something extra as far as other grocers in Indian markets are concerned. And this also becomes very much apparent from their mission, which is about to source and serve the very best of fruits and vegetables, authentic delicacies, and the finest meats in irresistible bakery products and more. As I was just saying, the unique selling proposition is all about bringing in the best from different countries and then offering to the Indian markets. And this also becomes clear from the snapshot which I have put in screen. Imported guava, rambutan, red capsicum, and Italian lemon. So this clearly indicates that all these products have been roped in from different countries to offer the best of products to the Indian markets. Now, I gave you two examples about new grocery market. One was of DMart and one was Nature's Basket, which are completely opposite to each other. While DMart is all a no frills store and is offering on bringing in the best value for every rupee spent, Nature's Basket is all about offering a elite grocery shopping experience by bringing in the best products from different countries as well. But I thought, why not discuss about one of the electronic sellers also, which is Chroma. Now, if you talk about Chroma particularly, let's read this. You will always be spoiled for choice at Chroma, but will never be left confused. Experts at our stores will help you find the right appliances or gadgets for your needs. Simply ask Chroma experts or find the right electronics and appliances by yourself online with these Chroma buying guides for everything, and they talk about gaming consoles to finally smartphones and a lot more. Now, in this case, as far as Chroma is concerned, the whole facet is about making sure that customers are not confused, which means they are there to help you out in figuring out which is going to be the right product fit for you. And this anyway is a problem these days, because if we start searching for information on Google or World Wide Web, it is flooded with so much information that definitely you will end up being confused. Along with that, if you look at Chroma and you read this completely snapshot, they are also talking about their own private label brands which are not just competing on pricing but are also best of quality. Now, this again indicates where the Chroma is playing as far as other electronic retailers or home appliances retailers are concerned. So I would again urge you to read this snapshot in detail, and you'll be able to dig in a lot more details and insights with respect to what we have just discussed. Now, this again is one of the snapshots which I wanted you to see and belongs to Future Group. In this case also, they are highlighting that they want to be cost conscious and committed to quality in whatever they do. This again indicates that they are focusing on offering a lot more value to the customers on every rupee spent. So again, I would urge you to read this snapshot in detail, because this will again help you understand the question of why, with respect to understanding why a retailer exists, which means what is it that they are trying to do or achieve for their customers. Because only when a retailer understands the facet of why, they are going to be successful. Otherwise, when they'll be confused on their own, they'll not be able to create the best of experiences or offer best of products to their customers. So the another facet which we are going to discuss is about caring and showing. See, every customers would like to be cared, but a retailer is only going to capitalize on that when they show, when they care. And one of the best examples for this is Ritz-Carlton, which is one of the premium hotels chains. And when we discuss this in further, you'll be able to understand why I particularly picked up this examples. So firstly, let's look at the service values which they have for their employees, and it's all about I am proud to be a Ritz-Carlton. So the first one is I build strong relationships and create Ritz-Carlton guests for life, which means the focus is never going to be on that day's deal. They'll be focusing on creating customers for life, which means you definitely need to be extra cautious and you'll be focusing on creating wow experiences for the customers. And whenever we are talking about wow experiences, this definitely has a lot of mystery and magical thing about Ritz-Carlton, which we'll be talking as we move further. Another value is I am always responsive to the expressed and unexpressed wishes and needs of our guests. Now, just imagine, they're not just talking about the expressed wishes, they're also talking about the unexpressed wishes, which and again indicates that the employees need to be a lot more attentive and also trained in psychological ways to understand the unexpressed needs so that they can deliver best of experience to the guest. Another thing which becomes as a part of their service value is about empowerment, and then gets to the facet of creating unique, memorable and personal experiences for our guests. See, many times you will see, specifically in service industry, or let's say even if you consider the example of a sales agent in retail store, the employees or retail service agents need to be empowered. Let's look at it from this example. Let's say a staff in Ritz-Carlton needs to do something or maybe incur a cost to create best experiences for a guest. But as I said, it commands some cost. If every time they have to call to their boss or take their permission then there could be a lot of delay and things may not come out to be as best as they can be. So empowerment becomes the key. And specifically as far as Ritz Carlton is concerned, the employees or who are taking care of certain guests are empowered to incur certain expenses to create best of experiences for the shoppers. Now again, if you get back to the even the experience of a retail shop, let's say if there is a particular salesman and their customer, they are having a discussion with respect to pricing. The customer wants some extra discount, but he wants to close the deal then and there itself. Now just imagine you have not empowered the salesperson to do that. Now again, there is going to be a delay, irritation as far as the customer is concerned, confusion and a lot more things. But if you have empowered the salesman to do it then and there itself, just imagine the sales would be closed in magical ways. But definitely there is going to be some policy with respect to the cost or how much discounts they can offer. And as and when we talk about employees can create or empowered to create unique, memorable, and personal experiences for the customers, what we are trying to say is unique means doing some things that would separate Ritz Carlton from other hotels. That's why you are able to create or bring in that element of memorability, which means doing something that again stands out as compared to other competitors that are operating in the service industry. And finally, working on a personal level, which is all about doing something which is solely connected with that particular customers and will have very high emotional values. Now even with respect to other service values, they are all about seeking opportunities to innovate and improve the Ritz Carlton experience, own and immediately resolve guest problems, create a work environment of teamwork and literal service so that the needs of our guests and each other are met. And there are a few more that you can read. But I want to bring your attention to the fourth point and the key term, which is if you read the fourth service value, I understand my role in achieving the key success factors, embracing community footprints, and creating the Ritz Carlton mystique. Now, this Ritz Carlton mystique is all about creating unique and memorable experiences for the customers, which have a very high emotional value. And as we go further, you will understand what I'm trying to say. And this also gets reflected in terms of the wow stories, which are very popular as far as this chain of hotels is concerned. So let's look at this. When we say they not only care, they also show. Now a family that was staying in Ritz Carlton Bali was carrying specialized eggs and milk for their son who suffered from some food allergy. But unfortunately, on reaching the hotel, they realized that the eggs were broken and the milk was spoiled. So I think we all can think about the state of the family and how dismayed they must have felt. But just imagine what the Ritz Carlton staff would have done. The manager and the dining staff searched the whole town for the specific kind of eggs and milk. Regrettably, they could not find them anywhere. But that did not stop Ritz Carlton from doing everything it takes to deliver customer happiness. Now, the key lies in customer happiness, and we'll be seeing how they did it. And this is not just one example, there are many examples. If you Google about Ritz Carlton, you'll be able to experience that. The hotel's executive chef knew where they could find them in Singapore, approximately 1680 kilometers away. The chef contacted his mother in law and requested her to fly down. But the key is definitely she is not even a part of the company, and in any way she is not even related to the guest. But the chef requested her to fly down with the eggs and milk, and she had no obligation to it, but she did just to put a wide smile on the family's face. With such an experience, the family is bound to make Ritz Carlton their paradise wherever they go, which means there is definitely going to be a very high loyalty. Now, if you talk about your experience, or let's say even with respect to the experiences of the people who are in your family or extended circle, I'm very much sure that you must have not heard anything like this. So this is something which definitely differentiate Ritz Carlton from any of the hotels that exist in the world, I would say. So this snippet has been derived from the customerthing.com. Even you can visit their website for a lot more information and some exciting insights with respect to any of the customer experiences for other brands as well. Now let's look at another wow stories, and Ritz Carlton definitely has developed a culture for the wow stories. This is one of the great stories which has been going around from a lot of time as far as Ritz Carlton is concerned. Now this goes like this. A guest who had just left the hotel called to say that their son had left his stuffed giraffe in the room. The boy could not stop crying. The only thing these distraught parents could think of to tell their son is that the giraffe was staying on the vacation a little longer. So the staff found the giraffe and overnighted to the boy, which means they sent it to the boy by courier. Most luxury hotels would do that, but that was not enough. Can you maybe make some guesses what Ritz Carlton would have done? And you'll be surprised to see this is what they did. Knowing that the mom had told their son about staying a bit longer, the staff also included a photo album of the giraffe enjoying his extra day. They took photos of the giraffe sitting by the pool, getting a massage in the spa with cucumbers on his eyes and laying out on the beach. Imagine how the parents would have felt. And this is how it was done. Maybe you can see the giraffe relaxing, putting cucumbers on his eyes, or maybe having a good time in other activities which are being reflected in this image. So the whole idea is to make you understand the wow stories will not be built just by talking about them. You need to train your staff also by walking an extra mile, and even as a hotel you need to have that philosophy of going a lot more extra miles to create customer happiness. So as far as this is concerned, this has been derived from the belovedbrands.com. I would again urge you to go and visit their website to read more interesting stories about the brands. But one thing which I would always want you to remember, that creating customer happiness is not going to be easy. As far as today's competitive markets are concerned, you will always be required to walk an extra mile to do that. Now there is one more example which I want you to understand or know about in case of caring and showing to the customers is concerned. There is an apparel seller called as Best Dressed, and they precisely specialized in renting high-end dresses for special occasions. But one thing which they are doing extra is about also providing access to an on-site stylist which is going to help you out in determining what is going to look best on you, so that you are in a position to kind of capture all the limelight if you are visiting for any of the functions. So it is all about rent your dresses, own your style, and visit us in South Boston. Now you might be wondering where the element of care comes in. Indeed, this is coming from the facet of offering an on-site stylist. Along with that, they also post a lot more things, their Instagram channels or social media platforms, which anyway indicates or shows how they are caring for the customers. Maybe you can go and visit their Instagram channel and you'll be able to dig in a lot more about this brand. Now there is another facet which we need to understand, which is all about standing by your products. Now this precisely happens when you give guarantees for your product. Now again, this snapshot which is from P&G is basically related to one of their brands, Oral-B, as and linked with the electronic toothbrushes which they are offering. Now standing by a brand and giving guarantees might not always be the case, but when you give guarantees, it kind of transposes or indicates a trust to the customers, and they become more comfortable with respect to buying those brands. But in another ways, what you need to understand is, in many situations you might also be required to defend your products, so that you are able to communicate to the customers how your product is much better than the competitors. But the job lies in figuring out the best ways to do that. Now that can be done by maybe launching an integrated marketing communications campaign to bring in the synergistic effects also, and to capitalize on the maximum benefits of the costs that you are incurring on a communications program. So this is again one thing which you need to understand. The best or successful retailers will always stand by their products, but the other thing is you should always walk in hand with changing times also. Now that could be related to changing consumer preferences with time, and also with respect to technology. And with that, we can also connect the dots with respect to Kodak cameras. Just because they were not able to walk hand in hand with the changing times and technology, the product is not surviving today. Till now, we have understood about the facets of knowing your why, which means a retailer needs to understand why they exist, and about the facets of care and show, and also about standing by your products. But as we move further, we'll be learning about how technology needs to be at fulcrum, why hiring is the key, and what are the right systems and processes that a retailer needs to have to be very successful, and also about continuous innovation, and what can be the role of a strategic selling approach as far as the success of a retailer is concerned. But we'll be discussing this in the next lecture. But for now, I thought we can get back to our exciting elements, which is again food for thought. Now, as far as this module is concerned, I want you to learn about a brand which is basically called as Theli, and has brought sustainability at the core of its all operations, whether it is from the manufacturing point to finally delivering products to the customers. And as they say, don't just do right, do it right. So this brand was basically found by a young entrepreneur called as Ashe Bhave, who was 23-year-old at that time, and he's precisely using Thelis to kind of manufacture sustainable shoes. So Ashay Bhave, the founder of Thele, is a 23-year-old Indian entrepreneur who turns trash into high-end sneakers. Ashay Bhave's Thele shoes, which are entirely manufactured using waste plastic and elastic, has won the Eureka Startup Contribution Competition in 2019 as well, which was organized at MIT University, Dubai. He was also able to acquire funding to work on a model as a result of this. The mid 2000 B-ball shoes design has inspired his shoe layout. Here is everything you need to know about this. And as far as this is concerned, I would urge you to look at this exciting video and let's hear it from the horse's mouth itself. But trust me, this is again one of the fascinating brands as far as sustainability is concerned, and we should also not miss out on the opportunity of celebrating Indian entrepreneurs who are doing fantastic work.
Hi, I'm Ashay Bhave. I'm the CEO and founder of Theli, and this is how your sneakers were made.
Our journey starts at Cryotab Technologies, a waste management plant in Gurgaon, India. Our plastic bags are collected from homes and offices and are segregated from dry waste. The segregated plastic bags are then washed, sanitized, and hung to dry to remove any excess moisture. The bags are cut into sheets and fused with heat and pressure. The finished Theli Tech sheets are shipped to our shoe manufacturer in Jalandhar, India, where they are die cut according to pattern. The cut pieces are glued using a 100% vegan glue solution. Then the Theli Tex pieces are stitched to the rPET fabric, which is made from recycled plastic bottles. The finished upper is molded on a last. This gives the shoe its shape. The upper and the sole are brushed with our vegan glue solution and then heat treated. The recycled rubber sole is stitched to the upper and then ultimately bonded with high pressure. The finished shoe is laced with our rPET shoelaces and then packaged in rPET totes made from 4 waste plastic bottles. Your pair is then packaged in a plantable shoe box, ready to be shipped. Simply cut and plant the box, and you will have a basal plant in 10 days. The Theli Y2K Pro, made from 10 plastic bags and 12 plastic bottles, ethically handmade and 100% vegan. Theli, don't just do it right.
So I really hope you enjoyed looking at the video. Now we again get back to our another exciting element, which is learning something new. So for this module, we'll be learning about anchor stores. Now anchor stores basically are those stores that drive traffic to the mall or any large retail establishment. Let me give you an example for this. Let's say if in a particular city, a two-tier city, there is a mall which have recently opened up. Now if you establish Big Bazaar in that mall, you will see a lot of people going into that mall, which basically works as an anchor store. Or maybe if you establish McDonald's, then also you might see a lot of youth or families going there for get-togethers or for having a good time. Now this is precisely an example of an anchor store, which means these stores will bring in a lot of footprints to that mall or that retail establishment. That's why we call them as anchor stores, which means they anchor with respect to bringing in a lot more customers to the store. And what can be the best thing apart from being the neighbor to an anchor store, right? Because if you have a lot of people coming to that anchor store, being a neighbor, your store is also going to be in very close vicinity, and you will see a lot of people noticing and visiting your store as well. But definitely you might also be required to kind of execute a lot more strategies to bring customers to the store and also bring in the loyalty so that they keep buying time and again from you. So as far as this module is concerned, I'm very hopeful that you enjoyed learning about what we just discussed, anchor stores, and even you gained some enhanced and exciting perspectives about the brand Theli and about Ashe Bhave, who is definitely doing phenomenal work. And finally, as we get to the next lecture, we'll be talking a lot more about the factors which can be attributed to a retailer's success or how retailers can work differently to kind of win the hearts of the customers. So looking forward to meeting you in the next lecture. Wishing you a good day for now.